Chapter 1. Words that shape your world. The power behind every word you speak. Imagine walking into a room full of people. The atmosphere is buzzing with conversation. Some are exchanging ideas, others are laughing, and a few are engaged in serious discussion. Then, someone turns to you, handing you the microphone. For a brief moment, all eyes are on you. What you say next has the power to captivate, influence, or be forgotten. This scenario plays out in our everyday lives, often without us realizing it. Every conversation, every sentence, every word we choose has an impact. Words are not just sounds, weapons or bridges, tools or obstacles, depending on how we use them. The words you choose can shape your career, build or break relationships, and define how others perceive you. They can uplift or tear down, inspire or discourage. Words hold the power to change minds, stir emotions, and even alter the course of history. But how often do we stop and truly think about the weight of our words before we speak? How words shape perceptions. Words are the lens through which others see us. The way you phrase your thoughts and ideas determines whether people respect you, admire you, or dismiss you entirely. Think about the last time you met someone new. Within the first few minutes, you likely formed an impression of them. But what shaped that impression? Their body language? Yes. Their energy? Sure. But more than anything, their words. The way people speak, whether with confidence, hesitation, warmth, or authority, immediately sets the tone for how they are perceived. When someone speaks clearly and with conviction, they appear trustworthy and knowledgeable. If their words are scattered, unclear, or filled with doubt, they might come across as uncertain or unprepared. This is why the most successful communicators don't just talk, they choose their words intentionally. Words as a reflection of your mindset. Your choice of words doesn't just shape how others perceive you, it shapes how you perceive yourself. Imagine someone who constantly says, "I can't do this. I'm just not good at public speaking. No one listens to me." Every time they repeat these phrases, they reinforce limiting beliefs about themselves. Their words become a self-fulfilling prophecy, trapping them in a cycle of doubt and insecurity. Now, contrast that with someone who says, "I may not be great at this yet, but I'm learning. I have valuable ideas worth sharing. I can improve my communication skills." By shifting their words, they shift their mindset. They create a growth-oriented perspective, one that opens doors instead of closing them. The way you speak internally influences how you perform externally. If you speak with confidence, even when you're nervous, you gradually start to believe in your own potential. The hidden impact of everyday words. Most of us underestimate the impact of the words we casually use in everyday conversations. Think about these simple phrases. "I appreciate you." Can make someone's day. "I'm proud of you." Can strengthen a relationship. "I believe in you." Can encourage someone to take a leap of faith. Now, consider the opposite. "You always mess things up." Can plant seeds of self-doubt. "You'll never succeed." Can kill motivation before it even starts. "You're just not smart enough." Can damage confidence for years. Words linger. They stay in people's minds long after the conversation is over. A single careless comment can haunt someone for years, just as a single encouraging phrase can push someone to achieve greatness. Every word you speak has a ripple effect. It doesn't just disappear after it's spoken, it echoes in people's hearts and minds. The science behind the power of words. Neuroscientists and psychologists have studied the impact of language on human emotions and behavior. Research shows that words literally shape our reality. How words affect the brain. When you hear or speak positive words, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, chemicals that boost your mood and motivation. On the other hand, negative words trigger cortisol, the stress hormone, which can make you anxious, defensive, or demotivated. The experiment that proved words change perception. A famous study by psychologist Elizabeth Loftus showed how changing just one word could alter people's memories. Participants watched the same video of a car accident. One group was asked, how fast were the cars going when they smashed into each other? Another group was asked, how fast were the cars going when they hit each other? The group that heard smashed estimated significantly higher speeds than the group that heard hit. They even falsely remembered shattered glass in the video, just because of one word. This study proved that words don't just describe reality, they shape it. The way you describe an event, a person, or yourself influences how you and others perceive it. Mastering the art of intentional speaking. If words are so powerful, how can we use them to our advantage? Here are a few key strategies to speak with impact and intention. 1. Be clear and direct. One of the biggest mistakes people make is using vague or indirect language. For example, instead of saying, "I feel like maybe we should probably try to improve our teamwork a little bit," let's focus on improving our teamwork by communicating more clearly. The second statement is clear, confident, and direct. It eliminates hesitation and makes your message stronger. 2. Choose words that empower. Swap out disempowering language for words that build confidence. Instead of, "I have to give a speech tomorrow," say, "I get to share my ideas with people tomorrow." Instead of, "I'm not good at this," say, "I'm still learning this skill." By reframing your words, you reframe your reality. 3. Avoid filler words. Words like, you know, and sort of dilute your message. They make you sound uncertain, even when you know what you're talking about. Instead, train yourself to pause. Silence is more powerful than fillers. It makes you sound more confident and gives people time to absorb your words. 4. Speak with purpose. Before you say something, ask yourself, what do I want this person to take away from this? Am I speaking with clarity? Is this adding value to the conversation? When you speak with intention, your words become stronger and more memorable. The takeaway: words build the future. The words you choose today shape the opportunities you'll have tomorrow. If you want to be taken seriously, speak with clarity. If you want to inspire, speak with conviction. If you want to be remembered, speak with purpose. Think of your words as tools. You can use them to build a better life, a stronger career, and deeper relationships. Every sentence you say, every story you tell, and every conversation you have is an opportunity. Use your words wisely, and you'll discover just how much power your voice truly holds. Chapter 2. Finding your unique voice. The struggle to be heard. How many times have you had something valuable to say but held back? Maybe you were in a meeting, and an idea popped into your head, but before you could speak, someone else jumped in, and you convinced yourself that their idea was better. Or perhaps you wanted to express an opinion in a group conversation, but you hesitated, thinking, what if they disagree? What if I sound foolish? This struggle is universal. Many of us battle with self-doubt when it comes to speaking up. We assume that our voice doesn't carry as much weight as someone else's. But the truth is, your voice matters more than you realize. It's your most powerful tool for shaping how people see you and how you navigate the world. The ability to communicate effectively doesn't come from using fancy words or speaking the loudest. It comes from something much deeper: owning your voice with confidence, clarity, and authenticity. In this chapter, we'll explore how to find your true voice, the one that reflects who you are, what you believe, and what you stand for. Because when you find and embrace your voice, you don't just speak. You connect, influence, and inspire. Why we lose our voice. Many of us don't realize how early in life we start silencing ourselves. It often begins in childhood. We raise our hand in class, answer incorrectly, and get laughed at. We express excitement about something we love, only to be told it's weird or unimportant. We try to share an idea, but someone interrupts, and we learn to stop trying. Over time, these experiences condition us to believe that our voice isn't valuable. We become afraid of judgment, rejection, or conflict. We begin choosing silence over expression, thinking it's safer. But what if the opposite is true? What if finding your voice isn't just about speaking up, it's about stepping into who you truly are? Your voice is unique, and that's its power. No one else in the world has lived your life. No one else has your exact experiences, thoughts, or insights. That makes your voice one of a kind. Yet, We often try to conform to what we think people want to hear. We adjust our words to fit in, mirror others, or avoid standing out too much. But true power lies in authenticity. Think about the most memorable speakers you've ever heard. They aren't memorable because they sound like everyone else. They're memorable because they speak in a way that feels real, genuine, passionate, and uniquely their own. Your voice is your signature. The moment you start owning it instead of hiding it, people will start paying attention. The 3 elements of a strong voice. Finding your unique voice isn't just about speaking up. It's about how you express yourself. A strong voice is built on 3 key elements. 1. Confidence, trusting that your voice matters. Confidence doesn't mean never feeling nervous. It means believing in your message enough to say it anyway. How do you build confidence in your voice? Speak more often. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Stop overanalyzing. You don't need to craft the perfect sentence before you speak. Just say it. Own your perspective. Your thoughts and ideas are valid, even if they're different from others. Speaking with confidence isn't about knowing everything. It's about trusting that your voice deserves to be heard. 2. Clarity, saying what you mean with impact. A strong voice doesn't ramble or hesitate. It delivers messages with clarity and precision. Here's how to make your words clearer. Think before you speak. Pause for a second before responding. This helps you organize your thoughts. Keep it simple. Overcomplicating things weakens your message. Get straight to the point. Speak slowly and deliberately. Rushing through words makes you sound uncertain. Clarity makes you persuasive, because when people understand your message easily, they are more likely to remember and act on it. 3. Authenticity, speaking in a way that feels true to you. The world doesn't need more copies of the same voice. It needs real voices. Authenticity means speaking in a way that feels natural, not forcing yourself to sound a certain way. Sharing your honest thoughts instead of saying what you think others want to hear. Being okay with imperfection, because realness is more compelling than rehearsed perfection. The moment you stop trying to sound smart, impressive, or perfect, and start speaking from the heart, is the moment people truly start listening. How to find and strengthen your voice. If you've spent years holding back, how do you start finding your voice again? Here are 4 powerful strategies. 1. Speak up in small moments. Finding your voice doesn't start on a big stage, it starts in everyday life. If you're in a group conversation and have a thought, say it. If you disagree with something, politely express your perspective. If you have a question, ask it, even if it feels small. Every time you push past hesitation, you strengthen your voice. 2. Stop seeking approval before you speak. Too often, we scan the room, waiting for silent approval before we talk. Will they agree? Will they think I'm smart enough? Will they like what I say? The truth. You don't need permission to speak. Your voice doesn't become valuable because others validate it. It's valuable because it's yours. The moment you stop waiting for approval and start speaking freely, your voice grows stronger. 3. Practice expressing your thoughts out loud. If you struggle to articulate your ideas, practice verbalizing them. Talk through your thoughts when you're alone. Read aloud to hear how your voice sounds. Record yourself speaking and listen back. The more comfortable you become hearing your own voice, the more naturally it will flow when speaking to others. 4. Trust that your perspective has value. One of the biggest reasons people hold back is the fear of being wrong or not adding value. But here's the truth. Your thoughts matter, even if they're different from others. Your experiences give you a perspective no one else has. Your ideas can spark thoughts that others never considered. Your words can influence, inspire, and change minds. The world doesn't need you to say what everyone else is saying. It needs you to say what only you can say. Your voice is your power. At the end of the day, your voice is your influence. It's how you express who you are. It's how you share ideas that matter. It's how you make an impact. If you don't use it, someone else will shape the conversation for you. So, start now. Speak up. Own your voice. Because the moment you do, the world will start listening. Chapter 3. The art of listening, your secret weapon in communication. The hidden power of true listening. Most people believe that the best communicators are those who can speak well. They assume that great speakers are the ones who dominate conversations, give passionate speeches, or persuade others with powerful words. But here's the truth. The most powerful communicators are not the best talkers, they are the best listeners. Think about a time when someone truly listened to you. Not the kind of listening where they nod absent-mindedly while waiting for their turn to speak, but the kind where they were fully present, engaged, and genuinely interested in what you had to say. How did it make you feel? Probably respected, valued, and understood. That's the kind of impact deep listening can have. It makes people feel seen and heard, and in turn, it strengthens relationships, builds trust, and makes you someone people want to talk to. In this chapter, we'll break down why listening is the most underrated communication skill, the difference between hearing and true listening, and how you can develop the ability to listen in a way that transforms your personal and professional relationships. Why most people are terrible listeners. Most people think they are good listeners. They assume that just because they hear words, they are listening. But in reality, they are not fully present. Instead of actually absorbing what the other person is saying, they are thinking about what they will say next, judging the speaker in their mind, getting distracted by their phone or surroundings, interrupting to share their own experience. This isn't listening, it's waiting for your turn to talk. And when you don't listen, people can feel it. They sense when they are not being heard, and it creates distance in relationships. The irony: the more you listen to others, the more they will listen to you in return. The difference between hearing and listening. There is a massive difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is passive. It happens when sound waves hit your eardrum. It requires no effort. Listening is active. It requires focus, engagement, and understanding. For example, if someone says, "I'm fine," you hear the words. If you listen closely, you might notice their tone is flat, their body language is tense, and they are avoiding eye contact. This tells you they are not really fine. Listening goes beyond just processing words. It's about paying attention to the emotion, intent, and meaning behind the words. The science of listening. Why it's so powerful. Research shows that listening has profound effects on human connection, brain chemistry, and emotional well-being. 1. Listening builds trust and connection. Studies reveal that when people feel heard, their brain releases oxytocin, the same chemical associated with trust and bonding. This is why deep listening strengthens relationships. People don't just want to be acknowledged, they want to be understood. And when you listen with genuine curiosity, you make others feel valued. 2. Listening helps you understand before responding. Stephen Covey, the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said, "Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply." When you truly listen before responding, you gain insight into what the person actually needs, making your response far more effective. 3. Listening can diffuse conflict. Have you ever been in an argument where the other person just wanted to be heard? Many conflicts escalate simply because one or both people don't feel listened to. But the moment you stop, listen, and acknowledge someone's emotions, the tension decreases. When people feel understood, they become more open to solutions. The 5 levels of listening. Not all listening is created equal. There are different levels, and most people operate at the lowest ones. 1. Ignoring. Not paying attention at all. Example: checking your phone while someone is talking. 2. Pretend listening. Giving surface-level responses like, "aha," or "yeah," "sure," without actually absorbing what's being said. 3. Selective listening. Only tuning in to parts of the conversation that interest you. Example: only listening when someone is talking about something relevant to you, but tuning out when they share something personal. 4. Active listening. Fully engaged, making eye contact, and responding thoughtfully. Example: asking follow-up questions and repeating key points to show understanding. 5. Empathetic listening, the highest level. Not just understanding words, but also understanding feelings, emotions, and perspectives. Example, if someone says, "I've had a rough day," instead of saying, "That sucks," you say, "That sounds really frustrating. Do you want to talk about it?" Empathetic listening transforms relationships because it makes people feel deeply understood. How to become an exceptional listener. If you want to become a master communicator, you must develop the skill of deep listening. Here's how. 1. Be fully present. Put away distractions, phones, emails, background noise. Make eye contact to show you are engaged. Nod occasionally or give verbal cues like, "I see," or "That makes sense," to show attentiveness. 2. Listen without thinking about your response. Don't plan your reply while the other person is talking. Focus 100% on understanding their message first. 3. Use the power of pauses. Don't rush to fill silence. After they finish speaking, pause for a second before responding. This makes people feel that you are truly processing their words. 4. Ask thoughtful questions. Instead of jumping in with your opinion, ask questions like, "Can you tell me more about that? How did that make you feel? What do you think would help?" This makes conversations deeper and more meaningful. 5. Validate feelings. People don't just want solutions, they want to feel heard. Instead of dismissing emotions, acknowledge them. "I can see why that would be upsetting. That must have been really challenging for you." Validation is one of the most powerful tools in communication. 6. Listen for what's not being said. Pay attention to tone, body language, and unspoken emotions. If their words don't match their tone, ask deeper questions. Example, if someone says, "I'm fine," but their tone is cold, ask, "Are you sure? You seem a little off today." Listening is a superpower. Use it wisely. In a world where everyone wants to be heard but few are willing to listen, being an exceptional listener makes you stand out. It builds stronger relationships. It makes people respect and trust you. It gives you deeper insight into others. Great communicators don't just talk well, they listen deeply. So, the next time you're in a conversation, pause. Really listen. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Just being there and truly hearing someone is enough to change everything. Chapter 4. The Art of Saying Less. Why Brevity Makes You More Powerful. The Curse of Too Many Words. Have you ever been trapped in a conversation where someone just wouldn't stop talking? You nod, you smile, but in your head, you're checking out. You're waiting for them to get to the point, but instead, they go on, repeating ideas, adding unnecessary details, and filling every silence with words. By the time they finally finish, you barely remember what they were talking about. Now, what if you're unknowingly that person? The truth is, most people use far more words than necessary. They think that talking more makes them sound smart, persuasive, or impressive. But in reality, the more words you use, the less powerful your message becomes. Brevity isn't about saying less just for the sake of it. It's about saying just enough, getting your point across clearly, efficiently, and impactfully. In this chapter, we'll explore why the best communicators master the art of saying less, and how you can make your words more powerful, memorable, and effective. Why people talk too much. There are 3 main reasons why people over-explain, ramble, or talk more than necessary. 1. Fear of silence. Most people feel uncomfortable with silence. The moment a conversation has a pause, they feel the urge to fill it. But great communicators embrace silence. They understand that pauses create impact and allow their message to sink in. 2. Lack of clarity. Many people talk too much because they don't actually know what they want to say. Instead of delivering a clear point, they speak in circles, trying to figure it out as they go. But clarity should come before you speak, not during. 3. Wanting to impress others. Some people believe that using long explanations, complex words, or excessive detail makes them sound smarter. But the truth? The smartest people say the most with the fewest words. If you need 1,000 words to explain something simple, you don't sound more intelligent, you sound unprepared. The power of saying less. The greatest communicators in history understood one simple truth. People remember concise, impactful messages, not long, drawn-out explanations. Think about these famous quotes. I have a dream. Martin Luther King Jr. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. John F. Kennedy. Less is more. Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Each of these statements is short, clear, and unforgettable. If MLK's speech had been 3 hours long with unnecessary details, it wouldn't have been as powerful. Brevity makes your words easier to remember and more impactful. How to speak more powerfully by saying less. So, how can you cut the fluff and make your words more effective? Here are some practical strategies to master the art of saying less. 1. Know your core message before you speak. Before saying anything, ask yourself, what's the main point I want to communicate? What's the takeaway for the listener? How can I say this in the simplest, clearest way? If you don't know exactly what you want to say, you'll end up rambling. Take a moment to organize your thoughts before you speak, so your message is sharp and direct. 2. Cut unnecessary words and filler phrases. Many people weaken their message with unnecessary words. Look at the difference between these two statements. Crossmark at this point in time. We are currently in the process of evaluating our options in order to potentially make a decision in the near future. White heavy check mark. We're evaluating our options and will decide soon. The second version is shorter, clearer, and more powerful. Common filler phrases to eliminate. I just wanted to say it directly. In my opinion. It's obvious it's your opinion. Basically, unnecessary. At the end of the day, wasted words. Every extra word weakens your message. Say what matters and cut the rest. 3. Use shorter sentences. Long, complex sentences make your message harder to follow. If you can say something in 10 words instead of 20, do it. Compare these two statements. Crossmark. The reason I'm calling is because I wanted to check in with you about whether you had time to meet this week to discuss our project. White heavy check mark. Can we meet this week to discuss the project? The second version saves time and gets to the point. Rule of thumb. Keep sentences under 15 words whenever possible. 4. Master the power of pausing. Many people talk too much because they're afraid of silence. But silence isn't your enemy. It's your secret weapon. A well-placed pause gives the listener time to absorb what you said, adds weight and impact to your words, makes you sound more confident and in control. Instead of rushing to fill silence, pause after key points. Let your words settle. The best communicators speak slowly, deliberately, and with confidence. 5. Stop repeating yourself. Many people say the same thing in multiple ways, thinking it makes their point stronger. But repetition often makes you sound uncertain or unprepared. Example. Crossmark. So what I'm saying is, basically, at the end of the day, what I mean to say is that we should probably consider moving forward with this project sooner rather than later. White heavy check mark. We should move forward with this project soon. Say it once. Say it clearly. Then stop. 6. Respect the listener's time. The best communicators value efficiency. Before speaking, ask yourself, does this add value to the conversation? Would this be better said in fewer words? Is this necessary, or am I talking just to talk? The more concise and to the point you are, the more people will respect and listen to you. No one ever complained, wow, that explanation was too clear and efficient. But they do complain about long-winded, repetitive talkers. The ultimate test. Could a child understand it? If a 10-year-old can't understand your message, it's too complicated. Many people mistake complexity for intelligence. But the smartest communicators make things simple. If you can explain an idea in a way that a child could grasp, it means you truly understand it. So before speaking, ask, could I explain this to a 10-year-old? Could I make this clearer? Can I remove unnecessary details? Simpler equals stronger. Final thoughts. Less is more. Great communication isn't about saying a lot. It's about saying what matters. The world is full of noise. People are bombarded with endless information every day. If you want to stand out, don't add to the noise, cut through it. Speak less, say more, and watch as people truly start listening. Chapter 5. The Unspoken Language. Mastering Nonverbal Communication. The Message Beyond Words. Have you ever had a conversation where someone's words said one thing, but their body language told a completely different story? Maybe they said, "I'm fine," but their arms were crossed, their voice was flat, and they avoided eye contact. Or perhaps they assured you, "I totally understand," while scrolling through their phone, barely looking up. In moments like these, you instinctively know something is off. That's because communication is more than just words. Studies show that up to 93% of communication is nonverbal, meaning your facial expressions, gestures, posture, and tone of voice often speak louder than the words you say. So, if you want to be a powerful communicator, it's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. In this chapter, we'll dive deep into the world of nonverbal communication, exploring how body language, facial expressions, and tone shape how others perceive you, and how mastering them can instantly make you more confident, persuasive, and engaging. Why nonverbal communication matters more than you think. The human brain is wired to read body language before words. Before we even process what someone is saying, we're subconsciously analyzing their facial expressions, posture, and gestures to determine whether we trust them. This is an ancient survival instinct. Back when spoken language didn't exist, our ancestors relied on body language to judge friend from foe. Even today, this instinct is just as powerful. That's why a confident stance makes people take you seriously, even before you speak. A warm smile makes you seem approachable and trustworthy. A weak handshake or slouched posture makes you appear uncertain, no matter what words you use. Mastering nonverbal communication isn't about manipulating people. It's about making sure your body language matches your message, so you come across as authentic, confident, and clear. The 5 key elements of nonverbal communication. If you want to become a master communicator, you need to pay attention to these 5 elements of body language. 1. Posture. How you stand shapes how people see you. Your posture is the first thing people notice about you. A strong, upright posture signals confidence, leadership, and presence. A slouched, hunched posture signals insecurity, nervousness, or lack of energy. How to improve your posture for maximum impact. White heavy checkmark, stand with your feet shoulder width apart. White heavy checkmark, keep your shoulders relaxed but upright. White heavy checkmark, avoid crossing your arms, it creates a defensive barrier. White heavy checkmark, keep your chest open to project confidence. A confident stance makes people pay attention to you before you even open your mouth. 2. Eye contact, the fastest way to build trust. Ever met someone who couldn't hold eye contact? It instantly made them seem shifty, nervous, or untrustworthy, right? On the flip side, strong eye contact conveys confidence, sincerity, and connection. The right way to use eye contact. White heavy checkmark, maintain eye contact about 60 to 70% of the time in a conversation. White heavy checkmark, don't stare. Too much eye contact can feel intimidating. White heavy checkmark, when speaking to a group, shift your gaze between different people to include everyone. Strong eye contact makes people feel seen and heard, making your words more persuasive and memorable. 3. Gestures, using your hands to add power to your words. Your hands are powerful communication tools. Used correctly, they can add clarity and emphasis to your message. Used poorly, they can make you seem awkward, nervous, or distracting. How to use gestures effectively. White heavy checkmark, use open, natural hand movements to emphasize key points. White heavy checkmark, avoid excessive hand movement. Too much can look chaotic. White heavy checkmark, keep your gestures above the waist but below the shoulders. This is the optimal space for engaging communication. White heavy checkmark, when making a key point, use a controlled, deliberate gesture, like a slight forward motion of your hand, to reinforce your words. Gestures can make you more engaging and dynamic, but the key is balance. Use them intentionally, not randomly. 4. Facial expressions. Your face speaks before you do. Your face is the most expressive part of your body, and people naturally scan it for emotional cues. Have you ever heard the phrase, your face says it all? It's true. If your facial expression doesn't match your words, people won't believe what you're saying. How to control your facial expressions. White heavy check mark. Smile genuinely when appropriate. It signals warmth and friendliness. White heavy check mark. Avoid frowning or looking tense. It can make you seem closed off or unapproachable. White heavy check mark. Use subtle eyebrow movements to show engagement. A slight raise can signal curiosity or agreement. Your face is a communication powerhouse. Make sure it's working with you, not against you. 5. Tone of voice. How you say it matters more than what you say. Studies show that tone of voice carries more emotional weight than words. For example, a flat, monotone voice makes you seem bored, disinterested, or unconfident. A rushed, high-pitched voice makes you seem anxious or uncertain. A calm, steady, well-paced voice makes you seem credible and persuasive. How to improve your tone for maximum impact. White heavy check mark. Slow down. Speaking too fast makes you seem nervous. White heavy check mark. Lower your pitch slightly. A deeper voice conveys authority. White heavy check mark. Vary your tone to keep conversations dynamic and engaging. The best communicators don't just speak, they use their voice like an instrument, adjusting tone and pacing to create impact. How to read other people's body language. Mastering nonverbal communication isn't just about controlling your own body language, it's also about reading others. By paying attention to subtle cues, you can understand what someone is really thinking even if they don't say it out loud. Signs of confidence versus nervousness. White heavy check mark. Confident body language. Strong eye contact. Open gestures. Relaxed posture. Steady voice. Crossmark. Nervous body language. Avoiding eye contact. Fidgeting. Crossing arms. Defensive posture. Speaking too fast or too softly. Sign someone is engaged versus distracted. White heavy check mark. Engaged. Nodding slightly. Leaning forward. Matching your gestures. Subconscious mirroring. Crossmark. Distracted. Looking around the room. Checking their phone. Feet pointing toward the exit, a sign they want to leave. If you notice someone disengaging, adjust your approach. Ask them a direct question, change your tone, or use a gesture to bring their focus back. Final thoughts. Your body speaks before you do. People make judgments about you before you say a single word. They assess your confidence, sincerity, and credibility based on your posture, eye contact, tone, and gestures. By mastering nonverbal communication, you instantly. White heavy check mark. Appear more confident and persuasive. White heavy check mark. Build trust and rapport faster. White heavy check mark. Make your words more impactful and memorable. Remember, stand tall. Make eye contact. Use purposeful gestures. Match your body language to your words. When your words and body language are aligned, people don't just listen to you, they believe you. Chapter 6. Speaking with confidence, the skill that changes everything. The magnetic power of confidence. Imagine walking into a room full of people. All eyes turn to you as you begin to speak. The room is silent, attentive, waiting to hear what you have to say. You aren't the loudest person in the room. You aren't using fancy words. Yet, everyone is listening. Why? Because you speak with confidence. Confidence is magnetic. When someone speaks with certainty, conviction, and clarity, people naturally lean in and pay attention. But here's the truth. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's a skill you develop. In this chapter, we'll break down why confidence matters more than knowledge or experience, the biggest confidence killers and how to overcome them, how to speak with confidence even when you feel nervous inside. By the end, you'll have a blueprint to command attention whenever you speak, whether in a conversation, meeting, or public speech. Why confidence is more important than knowledge. Most people believe that the more they know, the more confident they'll feel. But that's not how confidence works. Confidence isn't about knowing everything. It's about trusting yourself even when you don't know everything. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who wasn't the smartest person in the room but still got people to listen to them? Have you seen someone make mistakes while speaking but still come across as confident? That's because confidence trumps perfection. People don't follow those who have all the answers. They follow those who believe in what they're saying. If you wait until you feel fully prepared, fully knowledgeable, or fully ready, you'll be waiting forever. True confidence is about showing up, speaking up, and trusting yourself, even when you're not 100% sure. The biggest confidence killers, and how to overcome them. Many people struggle to speak with confidence because they are held back by internal fears and habits. Let's break down the biggest confidence killers, and how to destroy them. 1. Fear of judgment. What will people think? This is the #1 reason people feel nervous when speaking. They think, what if I say something stupid? What if people laugh at me? What if I embarrass myself? Here's the truth. People don't think about you as much as you think they do. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves to judge you. Even if you mess up, people forget quickly. They remember how you made them feel more than the words you said. How to overcome it. White heavy checkmark. Focus on your message, not yourself. Instead of thinking, what if I mess up? Think, how can I help, inspire, or engage my audience? White heavy checkmark. Accept that not everyone will like you, and that's okay. The most confident people aren't afraid of criticism. 2. Overthinking every word. Many people overanalyze their speech, trying to say the perfect words. As a result, they hesitate and second-guess themselves. Use too many filler words, like, sound unnatural instead of speaking freely. How to overcome it. White heavy checkmark. Speak first, refine later. Don't aim for perfect, aim for clear. White heavy checkmark. Silence is better than fillers. If you don't know what to say next, pause. Pauses make you sound confident. White heavy checkmark. Practice speaking without a script. The more you practice spontaneous speech, the more natural you'll sound. 3. Focusing on mistakes instead of progress. Most people remember their worst speaking moments and use them as proof that they're bad communicators. But the truth? Even the best speakers make mistakes. They forget words. They stumble. They say things they didn't mean to say. The difference? Confident speakers don't let mistakes stop them. How to overcome it. White heavy checkmark. Shift your mindset. Instead of thinking, I made a mistake, I'm a bad speaker, think, I learned something, I'm getting better. White heavy checkmark. Laugh at yourself. If you make a mistake, own it and move on. People love authenticity. White heavy checkmark. Every time you speak, you improve. Confidence is built through action, not just preparation. How to speak with confidence, even if you feel nervous. Now that we've eliminated the biggest confidence killers, let's go over the exact techniques to sound confident, even when you don't feel that way inside. 1. Control your body language. Your posture, gestures, and facial expressions send a message before you even speak. White heavy checkmark. Stand tall. Good posture projects confidence. White heavy checkmark. Make eye contact. It makes people feel connected to you. White heavy checkmark. Use hand gestures naturally. Avoid crossing your arms. It makes you look closed off. Your body sends signals to your brain. If you act confident, you'll start to feel confident. 2. Speak slower and louder than you think you should. Nervous people speak too fast and too quietly. Confident people slow down and project their voice. White heavy checkmark. Slow your speech by 20%. It makes you sound calm and controlled. White heavy checkmark. Use pauses strategically. Pauses create power and impact. White heavy checkmark. Speak louder than you think you need to. It makes you seem self-assured. 3. Practice speaking under pressure. Confidence is a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. White heavy checkmark. Put yourself in situations where you have to speak. Start small, group discussions, meetings, speaking to new people. White heavy checkmark. Record yourself speaking. Listen back and identify areas to improve. White heavy checkmark. Join a public speaking group, like Toastmasters. Nothing builds confidence faster than practice. The more you speak, the easier it becomes. 4. Develop a pre-speaking ritual. Even professional speakers get nervous. The difference? They know how to manage their nerves. Try this simple confidence-boosting routine before speaking. Keycap 1. Breathe deeply. Slow breathing calms nerves. Keycap 2. Power pose for 2 minutes. Stand tall with your hands on your hips, proven to boost confidence. Keycap 3. Remind yourself, I've got this. A positive mindset shifts your focus. Keycap 4. Smile. Smiling relaxes your body and projects warmth. A pre-speaking routine trains your brain to feel more confident. Final thoughts. Confidence is a choice. Confidence isn't about being the smartest or the most experienced. It's about trusting yourself. It's about owning your voice, even when you feel uncertain. It's about speaking as if what you have to say matters, because it does. The next time you speak, remember, confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's speaking despite it. People don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be real. Every time you speak with confidence, you inspire others to do the same. So stand tall, speak up, and own your words. Because when you believe in yourself, the world will too. Chapter 7. The Power of Pausing. Why silence makes you a more impactful speaker. The secret weapon most people ignore. Picture this. You're watching a world-class speaker on stage. They begin their talk with a commanding presence, speaking clearly and passionately. Suddenly, they pause. The room goes silent. For a moment, there's no sound, no movement, just anticipation. And then, when they finally continue, their words hit harder. Why? Because pausing is one of the most powerful tools in communication. Yet, most people avoid silence like it's a mistake. They feel uncomfortable when there's a gap in conversation, so they fill it with, or rushed speech. But here's the truth. Pausing makes you sound more confident, more authoritative, and more persuasive. In this chapter, we'll explore why strategic pauses are the key to commanding attention, how to use them effectively, and how they can transform your speaking skills. Why most people fear pauses, and why that's a mistake. Many people believe that silence in conversation is awkward or a sign of uncertainty. They assume that if they don't keep talking, people will think they're unprepared or lacking confidence. But the opposite is true. Some of the most respected, charismatic, and persuasive speakers in history, leaders like Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, and Steve Jobs, masterfully use pauses to enhance their message. Think about a time when someone spoke too quickly, barely taking a breath between sentences. It probably made them seem nervous, rushed, or unprepared. Now, think about someone who spoke with deliberate pauses. Their words felt stronger, their presence more commanding, and their message more memorable. Pauses aren't awkward. They're powerful. The science behind the power of pausing. 1. Pausing makes you sound more confident. Studies show that speakers who use strategic pauses are perceived as more confident and credible than those who rush through their words. Why? Because confident people don't rush. They take their time, showing that they are in control of the conversation. When you pause, white heavy check mark, you eliminate filler words, White heavy check mark, you give yourself time to think before speaking. White heavy check mark, you make your message sound more intentional and authoritative. 2. Pausing creates anticipation. Silence grabs attention. When you pause before revealing something important, people instinctively lean in, eager to hear what's next. It's the same principle used in comedy. The best comedians pause before delivering the punchline. Music. The best songs use silence to build tension before the chorus. Storytelling. The best authors use suspense before revealing the twist. Pauses make people pay closer attention, because they know something important is coming. 3. Pausing improves audience understanding. Have you ever listened to someone speak so fast that you couldn't absorb what they were saying? When you speak without pauses, you overwhelm your listener's brain, making it harder for them to process and remember your message. By pausing, you white heavy check mark, give your audience time to absorb what you said. White heavy check mark, make complex ideas easier to understand. White heavy check mark, emphasize your key points so they don't get lost. If you want people to remember what you say, give them time to process it. The 4 types of pauses, and how to use them like a pro. There are four main types of pauses that can instantly enhance your communication skills. 1. The emphasis pause, to highlight important points. This is the pause you use right before or after saying something important. Small blue diamond example. White heavy check mark. The secret to success is simple. Pause, consistency. White heavy check mark. You don't have to be perfect. Pause. You just have to start. When you pause, it forces people to focus on your words. 2. The thinking pause, to gather your thoughts. Many people rush to respond because they fear looking slow or uncertain. But confident speakers take their time. Small blue diamond example. Someone asks you a question, and instead of instantly answering, you pause for a few seconds to think. What does this signal? White heavy check mark that you are carefully considering your response. White heavy check mark that you are thoughtful and deliberate in your communication. Smart people don't answer first, they answer best. 3. The dramatic pause, to build suspense. This pause makes your audience lean in, waiting for what's next. Small blue diamond example. White heavy check mark. I spent years searching for the answer. Pause. Until one day I found it. White heavy check mark. There are 3 things that make someone truly successful. Pause. And the first one is mindset. This technique is often used in public speaking, storytelling, and sales, because it makes people eager to hear what comes next. 4. The reset pause, to regain control in a conversation. When a conversation becomes too chaotic, tense, or emotional, a well-placed pause can calm the situation and help you regain control. Small blue diamond example. Someone interrupts you or challenges your point. Instead of reacting emotionally, you pause for a moment before responding. This does 3 things. White heavy check mark, it makes you look composed and in control. White heavy check mark, it forces the other person to stop talking and listen. White heavy check mark, it allows you to collect your thoughts and avoid saying something impulsive. Silence is often the best response, because it makes others uncomfortable enough to listen. How to start using pauses today, a simple exercise. If you're not used to pausing while speaking, it can feel unnatural at first. Here's a simple exercise to help you develop the habit. The 3-second rule exercise. Keycap 1. Find a passage from a book, article, or speech. Keycap 2. Read it out loud. Keycap 3. After every sentence, pause for 3 seconds before continuing. At first, this will feel awkward. But over time, you'll develop the ability to pause naturally and effortlessly. The big takeaway: silence is power. Most people think great speakers talk more. But the best speakers know when to pause. Remember these key lessons. White heavy check mark. Pausing makes you sound more confident, because confident people don't rush. White heavy check mark. Pausing makes your words more powerful, because it highlights what matters. White heavy check mark. Pausing makes people pay attention, because silence builds anticipation. White heavy check mark. Pausing makes you a better listener, because it gives you time to respond thoughtfully. The next time you're in a conversation, giving a presentation, or answering a question, resist the urge to fill every second with words. Instead, embrace the pause. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Chapter 8. Storytelling that sticks. Why stories are the key to memorable communication. The power of a good story. Think back to the last time someone told you a story. It could have been a friend recounting their day, a motivational speaker inspiring an audience, or a movie that left you thinking about it long after the credits rolled. What do all these stories have in common? They stuck with you. You can probably recall details from the story vividly: the setting, the emotions, the twist at the end. But can you remember everything the person said before they began the story? Most likely not. That's the power of storytelling. Stories have the ability to capture attention, create emotional connections, and make your message unforgettable. In fact, storytelling is one of the most potent communication tools in the world. In this chapter, we'll explore why storytelling is so powerful, how it engages the brain, and how you can craft your own compelling stories that captivate any audience. Why storytelling works. 1. Stories are human nature. Humans have been telling stories for thousands of years, since the dawn of civilization. From cave paintings to oral traditions, stories were the way we shared knowledge, passed down wisdom, and connected with one another. It's no surprise that today, stories are still one of the most effective ways to communicate. Why do stories resonate so deeply with us? They evoke emotions. Good stories tap into universal emotions: fear, joy, love, sadness, or triumph. These emotions create a sense of connection between the storyteller and the audience. They create meaning. Stories help us make sense of the world. They take complex ideas and simplify them by embedding them in a narrative that is easy to follow. They are memorable. Humans are wired to remember stories better than dry facts. When we hear a story, we're more likely to remember the lessons embedded in it than any individual piece of information. 2. The brain craves stories. From a neurological standpoint, stories engage the brain in powerful ways that plain facts just don't. When we hear a story, our brains release dopamine, the chemical associated with emotional reward. It's the same chemical that makes us feel good when we listen to music, have a pleasant experience, or even anticipate something exciting. When you tell a story that is engaging, your audience experiences a similar emotional reward, which strengthens the bond between you and them. Additionally, stories activate the visual cortex, allowing listeners to picture scenes in their minds. This imagery makes stories more vivid and easier to recall. Facts, on the other hand, are often processed in the cognitive areas of the brain. While we remember facts, they don't trigger the same emotional response that stories do, and they're often harder to retain long-term. 3. Stories help people relate. One of the biggest reasons why storytelling is so effective is because it helps people connect to your message on a personal level. When you share a story, listeners can see themselves in it. They might recognize the challenges, the emotions, or the triumphs, which makes your message feel relevant to their own lives. This relatability creates trust and makes your message resonate more deeply. Even if you're talking about a business idea, a product, or a piece of information, framing it as a story allows people to understand it through their own experiences. This is why storytelling is used so frequently in marketing, advertising, and public speaking, because it makes an emotional impact that straightforward facts often cannot. How to craft stories that stick. Now that we understand why storytelling is so powerful, let's talk about how to craft stories that captivate and leave a lasting impression. The key is structure, emotional engagement, and relatability. Here's how to create stories that people will remember. 1. Start with a hook. The beginning of a story sets the tone for everything that follows. A great hook grabs attention and makes the listener want to hear more. This could be a question, a surprising fact, or an intriguing statement. The goal is to engage curiosity and get the audience invested from the very first sentence. Examples of strong hooks. Imagine waking up tomorrow and finding out that everything you know about your life has changed. The year was 1969, and no one thought it was possible, until one man made history. Have you ever been told that something was impossible, only to prove them wrong? A good hook gets the listener to lean in and want to know more. 2. Introduce a conflict or challenge. Once you've hooked your audience, introduce a conflict or challenge that the main character, even if that's you, has to face. This could be an external conflict, a situation or event, or an internal conflict, a struggle with self-doubt or fear. The conflict is what makes the story engaging and drives the narrative forward. Without it, the story falls flat. Examples of conflict or challenge. A person facing an important decision or crossroads. An obstacle or adversity that needs to be overcome. A major problem or issue that needs to be solved. The challenge makes your story relatable because everyone has faced struggles, and people connect with the emotions that come with them. 3. Build tension and suspense. As the story unfolds, build tension. This keeps the audience engaged and eager to see what happens next. Tension can be created through unanswered questions, dilemmas, or the stakes of the situation growing higher. The longer you keep the audience in suspense, the more they'll be invested in the outcome. Examples of creating tension. Just as she was about to give up, something unexpected happened. It was the darkest moment in his life, and he wasn't sure if he could continue. The clock was ticking, and the pressure was mounting. This was his last chance. The key to building tension is to make the audience feel like there's a real risk or uncertainty. This makes the resolution more powerful. 4. Deliver a powerful climax. Every good story has a climax, the point of highest emotional intensity. This is where the main conflict is resolved, and the character either overcomes or succumbs to their challenge. The climax should feel like the culmination of the entire story. All the previous tension and build-up should come to a head here. It's the moment that defines the story's impact. Example of a climax. With one final leap, he reached the summit, defeating his fears and proving everyone wrong. She opened the envelope, and the letter inside changed everything. Forever. The climax is where the core message of your story is revealed. It's the moment that makes the audience think, wow, this is what it's all been building up to. 5. End with a clear resolution or lesson. A powerful story doesn't just end with the climax. It wraps things up with a resolution or takeaway. This is where the audience reflects on the story and understands its deeper meaning. What lesson does the story teach? How did the character grow or change? What does the story mean for the audience? Example of a resolution or lesson. What he learned on that mountain wasn't just about physical strength. It was about believing in yourself, even when the odds are stacked against you. It wasn't the money she earned that mattered. It was the relationships she built along the way that changed her life. By ending with a clear lesson or resolution, you give the audience something to take away. This makes the story feel complete and leaves them with something to remember long after the conversation or speech is over. Tips for telling a great story. Now that we've broken down the essential elements of a good story, let's discuss a few tips that will help you tell your stories more effectively. 1. Be authentic. The best stories come from a place of authenticity. Whether you're telling a personal story or a business narrative, people connect with stories that feel real. Don't try to exaggerate or embellish too much. Let the story speak for itself. 2. Use vivid details. The more vivid and sensory your story is, the more your audience will be able to imagine the scene in their minds. Use specific details to paint a picture. Colors, sounds, textures, and emotions. 3. Keep it concise. Even though storytelling is powerful, don't overwhelm your audience with a long, meandering tale. Get to the point and make every detail matter. Remove any unnecessary parts to keep your story focused and engaging. 4. Practice your delivery. How you tell your story matters just as much as the content. Practice your tone, pace, and timing. Use pauses to create suspense and vary your tone to convey emotion. Conclusion. Telling stories that transform your communication. Storytelling is one of the most dynamic and effective communication skills you can master. Whether you're speaking to a group, giving a presentation, or simply having a conversation, the power of a good story can make your message resonate, inspire, and stick in the minds of your audience. By crafting stories with a clear structure, starting with a hook, building tension, delivering a powerful climax, and ending with a meaningful resolution, you'll captivate listeners and leave them with a lasting impression. Remember, everyone loves a great story. So, whether you're sharing personal experiences, professional lessons, or just trying to connect with someone on a deeper level, stories are your secret weapon. Chapter 9. Navigating Difficult Conversations. How to Speak with Grace and Impact in Tough Situations. The challenge of difficult conversations. Have you ever been in a conversation where every word felt like you were walking through a minefield? Perhaps it was a confrontation with a colleague, a sensitive discussion with a friend, or an uncomfortable conversation with a loved one. You knew what you wanted to say, but the stakes felt high, and you feared that saying the wrong thing could escalate the situation. Difficult conversations are inevitable. They are part of both our personal and professional lives. Whether it's delivering tough feedback, addressing a sensitive issue, or having a heated disagreement, knowing how to navigate these conversations with grace and clarity can make all the difference. In this chapter, we'll explore how to handle difficult conversations with confidence and skill. We'll break down key strategies for keeping your emotions in check, communicating effectively under pressure, and turning challenging moments into opportunities for growth and connection. Why we avoid difficult conversations. Many people shy away from difficult conversations because of the fear of conflict. There are several reasons why we feel uneasy about these types of exchanges. 1. Fear of escalation. One of the most common fears people have when approaching a difficult conversation is that it will escalate into an argument or confrontation. The thought of tensions rising, voices getting louder, and emotions spiraling out of control can be paralyzing. 2. Fear of hurt feelings. We don't want to hurt others, especially if we care about them. We worry that what we say might offend or upset them, leading to an emotional rift that is hard to repair. 3. Fear of judgment. In difficult conversations, we often fear being judged, whether by the other person or by others who may be witnessing the exchange. We worry that our thoughts and feelings won't be understood or validated. 4. Fear of not being heard. Sometimes, the fear is simply that we won't be heard, or that the other person won't be receptive to what we have to say. This can create feelings of frustration and helplessness, making it even harder to speak up. Despite these fears, avoiding difficult conversations often leads to unresolved issues, festering resentment, and missed opportunities for growth and understanding. The key is not to avoid these situations, but to approach them with the right mindset and tools. The power of preparation. When it comes to difficult conversations, preparation is everything. Just like you wouldn't go into a meeting unprepared, you shouldn't approach a tough conversation without giving it thought. The more you prepare, the more confident and clear-headed you will be when the conversation takes place. 1. Clarify your intentions. Before you engage in a difficult conversation, ask yourself, what is the outcome I hope to achieve? It's important to be clear about your intentions before speaking. Your goals might be to resolve an issue, express your feelings, provide constructive feedback, or come to an agreement. Knowing your intentions will help you stay focused on the outcome rather than getting caught up in emotions during the conversation. 2. Anticipate possible responses. Think about how the other person might respond. Try to anticipate their potential reactions, whether they're defensive, emotional, or open to discussion. While you can't predict everything, having an idea of how they might react will help you prepare your response in advance. The goal is to be prepared for any emotional turn the conversation might take and to keep it calm and productive. 3. Plan your key messages. It's easy to get off track in a difficult conversation, especially when emotions are involved. To stay focused, plan your key points and keep them clear. Identify the main message you want to communicate and avoid getting caught in side issues or irrelevant details. Being concise and direct will ensure that your message is heard and understood. 4. Practice empathy. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Think about their perspective and consider how they might be feeling. Practicing empathy allows you to approach the conversation with compassion and openness, making it easier to communicate effectively, even in tough situations. Strategies for navigating difficult conversations. Now that you're prepared, it's time to dive into the conversation itself. The following strategies will help you navigate the discussion with confidence, compassion, and grace. 1. Start with active listening. One of the most important skills you can use in any conversation, especially a difficult one, is active listening. Listening is not just about hearing the words. It's about fully understanding what the other person is saying, both verbally and non-verbally. Active listening allows you to respond in a way that shows you are truly engaged and care about their perspective. Here's how to practice active listening. Give them your full attention. Make eye contact, nod, and avoid distractions. Avoid interrupting. Let the other person finish speaking before you respond. Reflect and paraphrase. Repeat back what you've heard to show you're listening. For example, so what I'm hearing is that you're feeling frustrated because... Ask clarifying questions. If you're unsure, ask questions to better understand their point of view. Validate their emotions. Acknowledge their feelings, even if you don't agree with them. For example, I understand that you're feeling upset about this situation. By actively listening, you show the other person that their thoughts and feelings matter, which helps build trust and rapport, especially when tensions are high. 2. Use I statements, not you statements. When addressing a problem, focus on your feelings rather than accusing the other person. Using I statements shifts the conversation from blame to personal experience, making it less likely to provoke defensiveness. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," I feel unheard when I don't get the chance to share my thoughts. By framing your message with I statements, you communicate how the situation affects you personally, without attacking or accusing the other person. This helps keep the conversation constructive and focused on finding a solution. 3. Keep your emotions in check. It's natural to feel emotional during difficult conversations, but letting your emotions control the discussion can lead to miscommunication, escalation, and regret. The key is to stay calm and composed while still being emotionally honest. Here's how to manage your emotions during tough conversations. Breathe deeply. If you start feeling angry or anxious, take a few deep breaths to calm your nerves and center yourself. Pause before responding. If you feel your emotions rising, pause for a moment before speaking. This gives you time to gather your thoughts and avoid reacting impulsively. Focus on the issue, not the person. Avoid making personal attacks or bringing up irrelevant issues. Stay focused on the problem at hand, not the person's character. The goal is to express your emotions thoughtfully, without allowing them to overwhelm the conversation. 4. Stay solution-oriented. In difficult conversations, it's easy to get caught up in the past or in the problems. But if you want the conversation to be productive, you must shift the focus toward finding a solution. Here's how to keep the conversation solution-oriented. Identify common goals. Find areas where you and the other person agree and use that as a starting point. Brainstorm solutions together. Invite the other person to collaborate on possible solutions. For example, what do you think we can do to fix this? Be open to compromise. Understand that you might not get everything you want, but working together toward a mutually beneficial outcome will help resolve the situation. By staying focused on solutions, you demonstrate that you're more interested in resolving the issue than in winning the argument. 5. Know when to pause or end the conversation. Sometimes, difficult conversations can become too heated or emotional to resolve in one sitting. If you feel that the conversation is going in circles or that emotions are running too high, it's okay to take a break or end the discussion temporarily. Here's how to pause or end a conversation gracefully. Acknowledge the emotions. I can see this is a really important issue for both of us, but I think we're both getting overwhelmed. How about we take a break and come back to this later? Suggest a follow-up. Let's take some time to think things over and schedule another conversation to continue this discussion. End on a positive note. Even if the conversation hasn't been fully resolved, express appreciation for the other person's willingness to talk. I appreciate you taking the time to discuss this with me. Let's keep working on it. Taking a pause shows that you respect the conversation and the relationship, and it allows both parties to cool off and approach the situation with fresh perspective. Turning difficult conversations into opportunities for growth. Difficult conversations don't have to be negative. In fact, if handled correctly, they can strengthen relationships, resolve long-standing issues, and even increase trust. Here are some ways that difficult conversations can be opportunities for growth. Build deeper understanding. By listening carefully and communicating openly, you gain a better understanding of the other person's perspective. Foster stronger connections. Navigating a tough conversation with empathy and grace can build a deeper, more trusting relationship. Resolve underlying issues. Sometimes, difficult conversations bring to light issues that have been simmering beneath the surface. Addressing them can lead to long-term resolution and peace. Improve communication skills. Every difficult conversation teaches you something new about communication, helping you improve your ability to express yourself and empathize with others in the future. Conclusion. Mastering difficult conversations. Difficult conversations are an inevitable part of life. But with the right approach, they don't have to be feared or avoided. By preparing carefully, staying calm and empathetic, and focusing on solutions, you can turn even the toughest conversations into opportunities for growth, connection, and resolution. Remember, the goal is not to win or be right, it's to understand, resolve, and move forward. Chapter 10. Persuasion that moves people. How to speak to influence and inspire action. The power of persuasion. Every conversation, whether it's a casual chat or a formal presentation, has an underlying element of persuasion. Whether you're asking a friend to join you for dinner or pitching a business idea to potential investors, you are always, in some way, trying to convince someone to do something or see things your way. But persuasion isn't about manipulation or coercion. It's about understanding what matters to the other person and guiding them to see the world from your perspective. At its core, Persuasion is about building trust, creating connection, and inspiring people to take action. In this chapter, we will explore how to master the art of persuasion, how to move people with your words, influence their decisions, and inspire them to act. Whether you're trying to convince someone to buy into an idea, support a cause, or change their behavior, these strategies will help you communicate with greater power and impact. Why persuasion is the ultimate communication skill. Persuasion is more than just a tool for influencing decisions. It's the key to success in nearly every area of life. Think about it. In business, persuasion is critical for negotiations, pitches, and sales. It's what separates a successful entrepreneur from one who struggles to close deals. In relationships, persuasion helps you connect with others and create mutual understanding, whether it's convincing a partner to try something new or aligning goals within a family or friendship. In leadership, leaders persuade their teams to follow their vision, take on challenges, and remain motivated. In personal growth, we persuade ourselves to make positive changes, adopt new habits, and move past obstacles in our own lives. The truth is, every interaction is a chance to persuade, to convince, to motivate, and to inspire. But to do so effectively, you must learn how to do it with integrity, authenticity, and empathy. That's what will make your persuasion more powerful, lasting, and meaningful. The 4 pillars of persuasion. While persuasion might seem like an art form, it's actually rooted in a few key principles that you can learn and apply. In this section, we'll break down 4 essential pillars of persuasion that will help you become a more effective communicator. 1. Trust and credibility. Trust is the foundation of persuasion. If people don't trust you, they won't be receptive to your message, no matter how compelling it is. Building credibility is crucial, especially in the early stages of a conversation or presentation. If you want to persuade someone to take action, they need to feel that you are both knowledgeable and genuine. How to build trust. Be authentic. Authenticity builds trust. Speak from the heart and be yourself. People can sense when you're being insincere, and that will undermine your ability to persuade. Demonstrate competence. Ensure that you're well-prepared and knowledgeable about the topic. People are more likely to be persuaded when they see you have expertise. Be transparent. Don't hide your true intentions. Be open about why you're asking for what you're asking, and explain your reasoning clearly. Deliver on promises. Your actions should align with your words. If you say something, follow through. Trust is built over time, and consistency is key. 2. Emotional appeal. While facts and logic are important, people are emotional beings, and emotions often drive decisions more than rational thinking. Persuasion isn't just about making a logical case. It's about tapping into emotions that move people. Emotional appeal in persuasion involves connecting with your audience on a personal level and evoking feelings that resonate with them. When you connect emotionally, you build a deeper bond, which makes your argument more compelling and relatable. How to appeal to emotions. Tell stories. Stories engage emotions like nothing else. Use personal anecdotes, client success stories, or real-life examples to illustrate your point. Stories allow people to see themselves in the situation and emotionally connect with what you're saying. Appeal to core values. Understand what matters to the other person. Align your message with their values, desires, and motivations. When your ideas resonate with someone's core beliefs, they are far more likely to be persuaded. Create urgency. Use urgency to spur action. A sense of urgency can trigger emotions like fear of missing out, FOMO, excitement, or anticipation, motivating people to act quickly. 3. Logic and reasoning. While emotions are powerful, they alone can't always carry the weight of your message. This is where logic and reasoning come into play. To persuade someone effectively, you must support your message with clear, sound reasoning that backs up your emotional appeal. People need to see the practical benefits of your idea or solution. When you present facts, statistics, examples, and logical arguments, it makes your message more credible and easier to accept. How to use logic to persuade. Present evidence. Use data, research, or expert opinions to support your claims. When people see that there's credible evidence behind what you're saying, they're more likely to trust your message. Structure your argument clearly. Organize your message in a way that's easy to follow. Start with your main idea, back it up with facts, and conclude with a call to action. Address potential objections. Anticipate questions or concerns the other person may have and proactively address them. This demonstrates your thorough understanding of the topic and makes it easier for others to agree with you. 4. Reciprocity and social proof. People are more likely to be persuaded if they feel that they are getting something in return. Reciprocity is a powerful principle in persuasion. When you offer something of value, people are often motivated to reciprocate. Similarly, social proof, the idea that people are influenced by the actions of others, can help you persuade by showing that others believe in your message or have already taken the action you're encouraging. How to use reciprocity and social proof. Give before you ask. Offer something of value, whether it's your time, advice, or support, before asking for something in return. This creates a sense of obligation and builds goodwill. Use testimonials and endorsements. If others have benefited from your idea or product, use their experiences to persuade your audience. Social proof, like customer testimonials, success stories, or expert endorsements, builds credibility and encourages action. Create a sense of community. People are more likely to follow the crowd. Highlight how others, especially peers, colleagues, or respected figures, have taken the desired action. This helps build a sense of trust and validation. How to craft persuasive messages that inspire action. Now that we've covered the key principles of persuasion, let's dive into how you can craft persuasive messages that move people to act. This is about speaking to influence and inspire change, whether it's convincing someone to buy into an idea, support a cause, or take a step toward a shared goal. 1. Start with a strong hook. In any persuasive conversation, the beginning is crucial. The first few seconds are your opportunity to grab attention, establish credibility, and set the tone for what's to come. How to hook your audience. Ask a thought-provoking question. Have you ever wondered why? Make a bold statement. The way we work is about to change forever. Share a surprising statistic. Did you know that 80% of businesses fail within the first 5 years? The goal of your hook is to spark interest and set the stage for your argument. 2. Connect emotionally right away. Once you've grabbed attention, it's time to engage your audience emotionally. Tell a story, share a personal experience, or highlight a common challenge that resonates with their feelings. This is where you make your audience feel like you understand them and that you're on the same side. How to create emotional engagement. Use personal anecdotes. Share a story that shows vulnerability or humanizes your message. Appeal to shared values or beliefs. I know how important it is to create a better future for our children, which is why I'm passionate about this solution. When people emotionally connect with you, they are far more likely to be persuaded by your words. 3. Present your solution with clear benefits. Once you've established an emotional connection, it's time to present your solution. Explain how your idea, product, or approach will solve the problem or meet the need. Focus on the benefits that the other person will gain, not just the features or details. How to present the solution. Show the value. How will this change their life or business for the better? Highlight key benefits. Make it clear how your solution will save them time, money, or effort, or how it will help them achieve their goals. Be concise but compelling. Avoid overwhelming them with too many details. Focus on the most compelling aspects of your solution. 4. Use the power of urgency. People are more likely to act when they feel that time is running out or that there is an opportunity to gain something special. Create a sense of urgency that motivates your audience to act immediately. How to create urgency. Limited time offer. This deal is only available for the next 48 hours. Scarcity. There are only a few spots left, so don't miss your chance. Fear of missing out. FOMO. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You don't want to miss it. A little urgency helps move your audience from thinking about your idea to taking action. Conclusion. Persuade with integrity. Persuasion is not about manipulation. It's about connecting with people on a deeper level, understanding their needs and desires, and guiding them toward decisions that benefit both of you. By mastering the 4 pillars of persuasion, trust, emotional appeal, logic, and reciprocity, you'll become a more powerful communicator, able to influence and inspire others to take action. Whether you're convincing someone to invest in your idea, rallying support for a cause, or persuading a friend to join you on an adventure, These strategies will help you speak with confidence, clarity, and purpose. So, the next time you need to persuade someone, remember, it's not just about your words, it's about how you make people feel and how you guide them toward a meaningful decision. With these tools, you can turn any conversation into an opportunity to inspire and move others to action.